Hey John, how are you this week?
Hey Elliot, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. A little saddened by what's going on just south of me in Kenosha, Wisconsin, but
Yeah, sure. Right.
otherwise I'm good. So last week we chatted briefly about some things of interest to the AML community in the Democratic convention platform, and we said we would talk about what was in the Republican platform. So John, what did you see in the Republican platform?
Yeah, so look, we said last week that platform policies tend to come and go, so we get that. But I think it's relevant to show sort of directionally where policymakers sit and what they think. The Republicans decided, first time ever, no new platform, simply saying they support the current administration. It's unprecedented on so many levels. I don't even think it's worth going back and looking at the 2016 platform because I don't think that's still in play. So, in terms of sanctions and national security, things are sort of up in the air. But it was very dramatic in the fact that it was done without any changes, frankly, without any reference.
Yeah. So another thing I saw this week, Transparency International, the EU component of that, made a pretty strong statement for stronger anti-money laundering rules as a result of the COVID-19 crisis and some recent scandals related to money laundering. First, let me just tell our listeners, Transparency International is an organization, a nonprofit that's focused on creating more transparency in government and in transactionally to create a world free from corruption. So that's their focus. So what did you see in their call this week?
Yeah, so it was the international organization in 14 of their chapters, and they, as you say, called on the Commission to strengthen the fight against money laundering during the crisis, pointing to things like the Cyprus Papers, Wirecard, and Danske Bank scandals. And they think that there's a potential that regulators will be a lighter touch during this particular time, and they're urging against that. I understand the point, but I also think it's got to be relevant to reference that with people working remotely and all of that, to be rational and reasonable in the oversight, not to allow investigations not to proceed and that sort of thing. But I think I understand their point. They're an advocacy organization. They obviously are tunnel focused on corruption, and as they should be. And I think they do a great job. But the bottom line is, at least from my perspective, it's not that simple to say, don't defer to regulations if you think it's going to impact the economy. I think we get all that, but I think they have to be rational. But as long as they're spotlighting the issues, I think that's a positive.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was also interesting that just as part of their general conversation, they pointed out that that only 11 of the EU member states, and there are currently 27 post-Brexit, have fully adopted the fifth EU anti-money laundering directive, even though the deadline for full implementation at the national, at the individual country level, was the beginning of January of this year. So it felt like this was another opportunity for them to point out that even what you have in place, you're not necessarily really pushing through the way you say you're going to.
I agree.
Yeah. So anything else that you saw this week?
Yeah, one other thing, it actually was late last week, but relevant in terms of statements. It was another joint statement, and I understand from some of my sources that there may be, I won't say one a week, but there's going to be a number of these going forward, but a joint statement from all the banking agencies and FinCEN on dealing with politically exposed persons. And the thing, PEPs, and the thing that struck me, and you should read it, it's dated August 21st, so go through the statement. But one of the things that jumped out at me is that the agencies do not interpret the term politically exposed persons to include U.S. public officials. Okay, I get that as a technical read of the law and the regs, but I would say this: really, folks, you don't think there's corruption domestically? I think that's problematic, and we'll see some probably debate on this going forward.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if reform moves, whether or not that joint statement would cause any kind of amendment to pick that up in any reform package.
I agree. Yep. So, hey, have a great week, man. Stay safe, and we'll come back again next week.
All right. You too. Stay safe.